What's up, world? It's Dion, and I'm back with another Kingdom Hearts discussion. Today, I'll be discussing about why Sora and Riku never came across a sleeping Ventus in Castle Oblivion. Why they did not see him. Because I don't understand why they didn't see him. I mean, Sora and Riku beat half of Organization 13 up and down this entire castle, and still they saw no Ventus. So it's just kind of strange that Ventus was, sleeping in Castle Oblivion, and Sora never came across him. Riku never came across him. And I want y'all to get in the comment section down below to let me know why y'all think it is of the reason why Sora and Riku never came across a sleeping Ventus. But I do think that somebody else came across Ventus, and that person is directly connected to Sora and Kairi, and her name is Zeon. Zeon is basically a puppet. She was an experiment. She was the 14th version of, she was the 14th member of Organization 13. Basically like a third version of Sora, and in a way she kind of represented Kairi, so to speak. Like she was like a second version of Kairi, or a third version of Kairi. Because Naminé is Kairi's Heartless. Naminé is Kairi's Nobody. Okay. And Zeon, she is in a way sort of like Sora's Nobody, who's kind of like connected to Kairi in a way. So she even looks like Kairi. So with that being said, okay. Back in Kingdom Hearts 358 2 Days, y'all remember that time when Zeon went to Castle Oblivion for a mission, I think, or whatever she was doing. And when she got back from that mission, she told Axel how today she came across a boy that looked exactly like Ventus. And I've kind of been wondering about that scene, like what did she mean about that? Because she was so vague with it. She didn't really go into detail. It was a bland statement made by Zeon. She didn't really articulate on it that much. I know originally we thought that she was having dreams of Sora and whatever, and back then the thing used to be, oh, Roxas, Sora looks a lot like you, and in reality we know Sora looks nothing like Roxas, which is probably one of the reasons why they made Ventus, because it literally made no physical sense that Organization 13 would say that Sora and Roxas look alike, because they don't. They look totally opposite of each other. Like, you can't even confuse them even if you tried. So that being said, I believe Ventus in a way was necessary, because Ventus too is also Roxas's. Ventus is also the reborn version. Roxas is also the reborn version of Ventus. Okay? Sora and Ventus share the same Nobody, and that's Roxas. So with that being said, Ventus was necessary so they could really make sense when they say that, Roxas, he looks a lot like you. They were probably referring to Ventus once, I guess, Tetsuo Nomura kind of retconned that and, created Ventus, because Birth by Sleep came, like, after Rechain of Memories, which is why it's all like a clusterfuck. But in reality, back to my point. My point is this. Zeon, she's a nobody. Okay. Zeon told Axel she came across a boy that looked exactly like Roxas. My guess on that is maybe she was talking about Ventus and she didn't know who Ventus was. She just seen a sleeping body that looked exactly like Roxas. So with that being said, it's possible that Xeon has seen Ventus. She just doesn't know his name, and she hasn't been able to speak to him because Ventus was asleep and dormant, so she couldn't. But I think Xeon visited Castle Oblivion just to keep seeing Ventus for whatever reason, because in a way she's kind of connected to Ventus because she's connected to Sora, and Sora's directly connected to Ventus because Sora bears Ventus's heart. But the main thing is, how did Sora and Riku not come across Ventus in Castle Oblivion? It just kind of doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how could they go all through the castle, up and down the castle, on opposite sides of the castle, and they somehow don't see Ventus anywhere? And I know it could be because, Castle Oblivion is a huge, enormous castle, which is true, but, Sora and Riku basically went through almost all of the floors in Castle Oblivion, if not all of them. So it's still kind of strange how, they didn't come across Ventus. And I just wanted to vent about that and talk about that because I can't rationalize why they didn't see Ventus in the same castle that Ventus was held in. Because they fought all through the castle. And then Sora's directly connected to Ventus, so it just would have made a lot of sense if Sora would have seen Ventus's dormant body. But he didn't. Or even Riku for that matter. But none of them did. And it kind of makes me wonder, is there a logical reason for that? Is it possible that Master Xehanort or young Xehanort picked up Ventus's sleeping body from Castle Oblivion some way, somehow, don't know how, because they would have literally had to unlock the castle, so to speak, but I mean, maybe, I don't know. But the thing about it is, it might be possible to just go in the castle and go to the exact room that Ventus is at, which I believe is the Chamber of Awakening. And I mean, they probably could find him there if they could get in that room. Maybe the room was locked off and blocked off and locked, so nobody could get to it, nobody could see it, which is basically why Aqua locked away the Land of Departure and turned this world, the Land of Departure, into what we know as Castle Oblivion. But it just makes me wonder, is it possible that maybe the reason why Sora and Riku didn't come across Ventus is simply because young Xehanort maybe already had picked up Ventus before Sora and Riku even entered inside of Castle Oblivion, which would make sense because, I mean, if they picked up Ventus through the means of time travel, then there would be no way of Sora and Riku encountering Ventus to recover his body, because we know Xehanort wanted to recover Ven's body. Because Ven's whole purpose for Xehanort was to resurrect the X-Blade. That was Ven's whole point. That's why Master Xehanort wanted Ventus. But Ventus failed at that because he was afraid at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, so Master Xehanort took it upon himself to split Ventus's heart in half to get the dark side of Ventus that would be more willing of forging the X-Blade by fusing with Ventus, which Ventus did in fact fuse with Ventus, but they just did not fuse correctly for whatever reason, because Ventus resisted Ventus, so for some reason they did not merge fully because they were fighting each other inside of each other's heart for, who gets property over Ventus's body, since Ven destroyed Ventus's body in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep at the Keyblade Graveyard. So at that point, when Ventus's body perished, Ventus's heart went right inside of Ventus, because he wouldn't have a body anymore. He had to merge with Ventus. They fused physically, but for some reason on the inside, they just did not merge fully. But they did forge the X-Blade. The only problem was Ventus and Ventus forged the X-Blade, but it was broken. So at that point, it was kind of useless for Master Xehanort because it wasn't forged correctly.